I'm tripping a little because I have not sat on this chair since Saturday. It just goes to show how much not normal this week has been. Let's draw a card. I believe I am 3 cards behind. I'll try to get them done all today because I like doing this. Since it's an unexpected topic, it helps me be spontaneous more than I already am. And I also find that it's challenging in some cases. Today we have good deeds and it reads, donate books to your local library. Well, in order for me to donate books, I guess I need to possess books, and books is not something that I have a lot of. The book that I can think of straight off my mind that I have, but I don't remember where it's at, considering I've moved a couple times, it's 13 Reasons Why. I ended up buying it because it was recommended to me, and I felt like, based off the description that the cover had, it felt like an easy enough read for me to be able to commit to. And I honestly do not remember it very well. All I remember is that it was about a girl who didn't want to live anymore, and it had to do with 13 people or so. But I think one of them had a catch. I forget what. All I remember is a character by the name of Tyler, and I don't even remember who that was. But I remembered that there was a line in the book that read, "You're such an idiot, Tyler." But I don't even remember the main character's name. And I know that I had a book for some time, but I think this one I ended up legit donating to a thrift store, which was, I don't remember the title. I remember the cover of it, and I remember that the character was adopted, and she ended up with the last name Kaufman, or she is originally a Kaufman, but she was adopted into another family. I don't know, I forget. I think it was one of her aunts or something was really rich, and that's why the last name Kaufman was a really big deal. I think it was spelled Kaufmann, but for the life of me, I cannot remember the title of this book. The cover of it had like a fall theme kind of cover. It had like orangey, yellowish shades with some brown, and it featured the girl in it. I think she's like 16 years old in this book or something. And that's it. Outside of that, the books that you guys saw me holding that belong to my brother, that's as much book as this house has been graced with. I'm just not a reader like that, which is a shame because I remember a time I used to like reading, particularly when I was in middle school. Oh, you could not stop me from reading. But I still wasn't even reading what I consider to be substantial books at the time. It was more simple reads. I like to read books on science, especially something like, there was the saga of books about space. So one saga was like sun with moon, and then the asteroid belt around Saturn, something like that. And then there was like a second series in which they went over the actual planets. They went over all of the planets in our solar system. And then for the third saga, or I guess I should call them volumes, for the third volume, they had a volume on galaxies. So it described the Milky Way and many other galaxies. That was the stuff that I was into. The books were not even that thick. They were maybe like that thick. And honestly, I did it more for the illustrations because I always liked to see something and have the illustration accompanying it, because this was way before the internet became what it is now, to the point that you can go on YouTube, key in anything about this, and you get simulations, you get computer generated images of what a process looks like. Whereas before, I used to rely on diagrams, whatever diagrams books included. I guess I could consider buying some books and donating them to my library, but from what I understand, my library is not running out of books anytime soon. Every time I go, which I need to stop by maybe like 3 to 4 times a year, they're pretty loaded. And it seems like the books that get checked out get returned pretty quick. And I don't think they have a lot of duplicates. Like, say, if we're selling my autobiography, there's only like one copy. And then next time you visit, maybe it's back, maybe it isn't. But if you needed to replace the book because someone has kept it for too long, that bill would pay itself, because the amount that they're charging this person for turning it in late should pay it off, I would imagine. But yeah, you guys, I don't think that this is one that I can particularly execute. And even if I wanted to, the books that I have with me have writing on it. I don't think the library would like that too much. They would like for it to be clean and plain. And even if I wanted to donate some books, I wouldn't know which ones to donate. Which books do they need? I don't think they really need that many books. All right, well, there you guys have it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know who my avid readers are out there. I know of one of you who is quite the reader. Now I'm curious to see what you guys are reading, what you read, why you read it, since when do you read it. For me, I have always defined myself as someone exclusively nonfiction and science related, like I just mentioned. I would be interested in more books about psychology, because I like to dwell on my mind a lot, to the point that some of you fools be trying to say that I'm autistic, and I'm like, I guess I'm voluntarily autistic, because when I decide to focus, when I decide to put my mind into something, I can do it, period. Just because I can get lost in something for prolonged periods of time doesn't mean that I don't have control over it, or whatever it may be that may define an autistic person at this point. I'm not sure anymore. I feel like the spectrum changes a lot. So yeah, I think that for me, psychology, it'll always be my favorite thing to read about, because it's very pertinent to my life, and I think everybody's life. And reading material like that helped me get through a difficult time, especially when I was a teen. I'll never forget when I read the chapter about how I'm a teenager and how I am going to experience changes with my dynamic toward my parents. And it happened almost exactly as the book described, especially if you have like a wide age gap with your parents, because your parents are going to be entering a new stage of aging, and so are you, but your aging is on the young side, whereas they're aging on the older side. And it's not like they have been able to observe people aging like that, because your parents may have lived independently, and with the breakdown of the nuclear family, there is no longer a connection with older people like you used to have it. You are seeing young people grow into older young people, older adults, though. No one seems to be witnessing them getting old. It's like you see them one day and all of a sudden, oh shit, you got old. But you did not really see this person's process of aging. And that disconnect is what leads to certain issues. And the book didn't exactly paint it like that. What I just described is the conclusion that I was able to draw from the book. All that the book said was your parents are heading into or experiencing menopause that's going to incur changes in behavior in the same manner that you experienced changes in behaviors as a teen. And now that I'm older, now that I have some life experience and I went through what I went through with my mom, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. When my mom began to get up there in age, she wasn't observing anybody. And even her peers, sure, you guys are aging together, but the activities that you're performing have nothing to do with thinking about yourself internally. Thinking about, hey, so we are 40 now. What does it mean to be 40? Oh, we're 50 now. What does it mean to be 50? Oh, we're 60 now. What does it mean to be 60? You're spending time with these people, but you're not really evaluating yourself like that. This evaluation is something that happens either on your own, especially if you have a mind that is making that happen, or you're completely skipping that season and you're not introspecting about this decade until way later in life when something comes up.